Are you trying to establish your brand as a thought leader? Start a podcast, invite industry experts to be guests on your show, and watch your brand become the prime resource for decision makers in your industry. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm Jonathan Green.
And I'm James Carberry.
Let's get into the show.
We have officially made it to episode 400. This is insane to think that just over a year ago we launched this podcast, and I'm recording the 400th episode. It's actually been a little bit more than 400 because I think we've done a few half episodes along the way, but we'll go ahead and say that this is episode 400. And I've been hearing Gary Vaynerchuk talk a lot about documenting over creating. And I think for the marketers listening to this that are beating their heads against a wall, trying to figure out how do we create more content? How do we create more content? And I've recently started experimenting with documenting my life instead of trying to, come up with content for our brand. Instead, I'm just documenting what I'm doing. And so Gary talks about how you can do this. He does it with video, with his daily vlog that he's been putting out for more than a year now. That's, picked up a ton of steam. He's got, I think when he started, he had, like 130,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now he's got north of 600,000 subscribers on YouTube. And, as I thought about, video and do I want to document using video, that's really not a platform that I do well with for whatever reason. It's just like, it's not a strong channel for me. And so, thought about, what would it look like for me to do it, written. And the reality is, written content for me, I'm a good writer, but I don't enjoy doing it. And so I know that I won't be consistent if I were to choose to document my journey with written word. So for me, obviously, we produce podcasts day in and day out. Podcasts are what I live and breathe. We do this show daily. And so I thought, man, if I'm going to start documenting my journey, I'm going to do it with a podcast. And so the last few days, I launched a new podcast called The Crockpot. And the reason I named it The Crockpot is because of a message that my pastor gave several weeks ago, where he basically talked about, success doesn't come from the microwave. Anything worth having takes time. And, he was talking about it in the context of your relationship with God and how, going through hard times and really wrestling with, what is God calling you to do? That's apart from that struggle, it's really hard to know, what it is, what is it that God's calling me? Very, very few people just wake up and know, early in their life what it is they're supposed to be doing. So that was the context of his message. And I really took that and thought, man, as a 31-year-old entrepreneur, I'm doing a ton day in and day out. I now do 3 daily podcasts. And I'm on sales calls, and I'm trying to build and grow a team, and we're working with different clients, every month. And there are a ton of different things that I'm learning and ways that I'm growing. And so the best way for me to document my journey is with another podcast. And I think naming it The Crockpot for me was just an indicator that, my success that I know that I will achieve at one point in my career, it's a ways down the road. Like, to achieve the type of success that I want to achieve is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to come from a microwave. And so named the podcast The Crockpot. And I really want to talk about, this last month I've been, every day, I think I've only missed a couple days, I pull out my voice memo app. It is not, super edited, even as edited as B2B Growth is. It doesn't have, intro and outro music and all that stuff. It's just, me in a voice, recording a, 3 to 10 minute recap of my day, what I'm learning, how I'm growing, what I'm screwing up, how I'm winning. And I've been publishing these to this podcast channel. You can check it out. Just search The Crockpot, James Carberry, Carbary, and you should see it. You can subscribe and follow along to my journey. But the 3 benefits that I found in the last month from documenting my journey, I think are powerful benefits that, and really to challenge you, the listener, to start documenting your own journey, whether that's with video, with written word, or with podcasting. The first benefit is that it's been forcing me to reflect on the effectiveness of my time every day. So when I know that, that night or, early in the morning, I've got to, verbally, in my case, because it's a podcast, I'm verbally recapping what I've learned in the last day. It's forcing me to see like, oh, what did I do with the last day? An entire day went by. What did I get done? How did I move the needle in my marriage? How did I move the needle in my business? What did I do to, grow my friendships? And by having that daily rhythm of documenting my life, I have been forced to really reflect on the effectiveness of how I'm using my time. And on days when I've noticed, man, I didn't really do a whole lot and I probably should have, it impacts how I do, the following day. And so that's been an incredible benefit. The second benefit is that it's accountability for yourself. I've been trying with the Crockpot to be very transparent and very authentic in kind of what I'm screwing up, as well as how I'm winning. But I think a lot of people talk about how they're winning, and so I'm trying to err on the side of talking more about where I'm messing up and how I'm learning and growing through that. And so one example, there was a particular date night, and I documented, later that night, or I think it was maybe the next morning, about how I didn't really do a good job of planning that date night, and how, that communicates to my wife that I don't really value that night of the week, because I didn't put any thought into planning it. Well, because I documented that, because I said it out loud, the next week I actually planned, pretty thoughtful date night. We recreated the first date we ever went on, and I went to a drive-in movie, and it was a really fun experience. But had I not the week before documented the fact that I'd screwed it up, I probably, wouldn't have changed anything. My behavior wouldn't have changed. So it's accountability whenever you're documenting your life. And the third, and I think the biggest benefit that I'm really excited about with the Crockpot podcast and documenting my journey is the legacy of it all. I just think, if I can stay consistent with this, and this can be something that, my grandkids consume one day, and how powerful is that they can hear stories of how their grandpa built businesses that hopefully fuel the generosity of, our family for generations to come. They can see how I loved their grandma. They can see the impact that true friendship had on my life by hearing me talk, share stories about the different friends that have really made an impact on my life on a day-to-day basis. And really, I hope that they can see a roadmap to a life well lived. I hope that I'm really living in such a way that is honoring to God, and in a way where I'm actively loving people. And, I want to be able to leave that kind of legacy behind, to live a life like that, and then hopefully empower and encourage my grandkids to follow in my footsteps, and hopefully do it a lot better and learn from the mistakes that I made along the way. And so those are the 3 benefits that I found in the last month from documenting my own journey, forcing me to reflect on the effectiveness of how I'm spending my days. It's keeping me accountable to, when I make a mistake and I speak it out loud through the documentation process. By speaking it out loud, I'm hopefully not going to make that mistake too much more. Obviously, I'm not perfect, so I'm probably going to screw up date nights a lot throughout the rest of my life. But I know that it helped me not screw it up the next week. And so, and then the third benefit being the legacy of it. What legacy are you leaving to your children, to your grandchildren, to your great grandchildren? We live in a day where technology is enabling us to document our lives, and so to be able to do that in a positive way with intentionality, I think, is really powerful. So those are the 3 benefits. that I have found from documenting my journey, I would encourage you to start documenting your journey. Maybe it's not something you want to share with the world. Maybe you want to keep those voice memos on your phone. I chose to share it publicly after talking with my wife and making sure that she was okay with it. But maybe it's written. Maybe you're much more comfortable writing than you are talking, or maybe you want to record your own version of Daily V and you want to do it with video. Whatever the case may be, I think there's way too many benefits to documenting your journey to pass up on it, and just capitalizing on the technology that we have at our fingertips that are allowing us to do it. So that wraps it up for episode 400. I hope you guys get a ton of value out of this. I would love to connect with you. James at sweetfishmedia.com. If there's anything that I can do to be a helpful resource for you, let me know. You can check out that podcast. Just search the Crockpot. It's Crockpot is one word, CROCKPOT. And if you can't find it by searching the Crockpot, just put my name at the end of there, James Carberry, Carbary. Subscribe to that show. Hopefully it will be encouraging to you. And if you're on the fence about documenting your own journey, you can hear me document mine. Thank you guys so much for listening. 400 episodes is such a huge marker for us, and we would not continue to do it if not for the support that we get from the folks listening, from our guests, the effectiveness of our strategy, and seeing the guests that we have come on our show become clients, and the feedback that we're getting from listeners. It all helps us continue producing this show. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening this long. Even if you're a brand new listener, I hope the show continues to bring you lots of value. Thanks a lot. To ensure that you never miss an episode of the B2B Growth Show, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device.
If you or someone you know would be an incredible guest for the B2B Growth Show, email me at jonathan@sweetfishmedia.com. Let us know. We love connecting with B2B executives, and we love sharing their wisdom and perspective with our audience.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.